thought I had already worked through it, but they came back in full force. And of course, you know, like you, it has to do with the finances being, you know, all over the place right now. And I don't have my salary anymore. So just not having that is, I'm still waiting for my separation paperwork to come through. It was supposed to be done already. I can't cash out my retirement account. So it's just, you know, I knew this was going to happen, but it was like, it just came all in.
Now you're in it. You're like, whoa, yeah. I get you. So we're starting now. Welcome, Blazing and Flaming 3.0 Conversations. I am here with Jen from TwinSimplicity. She is so darling. I love her. I love her content that she creates for the collective, and just I want to share with the whole world that she was amazing by hosting me in Laguna Beach when I officiated my first wedding. So it was a pleasure meeting her in person. We're out here in Southern California, and as she would say, we're at our grid points. So we are here to talk about the harmonic convergence, whether if you want to say from 5D to 3D or into our 3D union space. Just an overview that got this topic from an astrological reading I read recently, last week, that basically was sharing how back, I believe in 1987, which was exactly 30 years ago, a guy by the name of, let's see here, Jose Arguelles did a global event where it was synchronized meditations, and it happened between the days of the 16th and the 17th of August. Mm-hmm. And it was coinciding with some solar events. And it was, you know, he was very a part of one of the beginner stages of pulling together light workers. So yeah, the harmonic convergence is just something that I feel just that title alone can relate to this time period, this frame of this season, I guess you can say, that we're moving into on such a grand scale, you know, not just the twin flame journey, but just our collective consciousness. So with that being said, Jen, when you hear harmonic convergence or dimensional edge or the dimensional merge point, what comes to mind for you?
So I have this habit of always connecting to myself through everything. So I will be speaking from my own direct experience of what this means. I don't go with necessarily the collective energies. I just go for my own union space, and then I share from that space to the collective. So just with that in mind, it's just how I've set up my own platform and the way I work personally, because I feel like it provides a just my own personal.
Makes it relatable.
Sorry?
I said it makes it relatable.
It makes it relatable, exactly. And then I can speak from that space rather than just speaking from some type of collective space. So I just tie it usually into my own experiences. So, so as far as what this means to me, I had told you before that I had quite an amazing spiritual experience last week. I was just telling you that. And I'm still trying to integrate it, but when you asked me to do this video, I thought this would be a great opportunity to align that experience itself to the harmonic convergence. And I have come across harmonic convergence information, what it was about. Prior to this year, obviously, I remember reading about it over the last 4 years when I started to get really deep into my journey. So the fact that it's coming up again is really interesting. I hadn't thought about it as something that was like commemorated or done every year. I never really thought about it like that. So the way I see this harmonic convergence currently grounding into the planet, because I do see it based on my experience that I had last week with the 88 portal, I see it as a opportunity to have worked through enough of discordance, of you could say disruptions, or any distortions that we've encountered up to this point of our journey, and be able to now take all that we have worked through and then ground it into our own personal relationships, our own grid points, our own groups. I see this definitely as moving deeper into a group consciousness. To me, a group consciousness is very diverse. Each person has their own role, and each person has their own part to play. And the way I've been seeing it is, again, a much more horizontal aspect of what we've been working on, you know, possibly in the vertical or in the higher, you know, in the higher dimensions. And so it is difficult because we were used to working up there, and now we're learning again how to work here. So we're pulling all of our energy out of the old systems, moving into our new systems, which is why we're having hiccups currently. But everything is moving into that space of, again, the physical harmony, the moving away from relationships that are no longer serving us, that are no longer in a higher good, allowing those who are not ready to move forward to stay back, to work out their, what they still have to work out, and then we come into a space of harmony. So for me, it's leaving the conflict behind, coming into the state of harmony, allowing everything to be what it will be, and then being able to move forward. I see post-eclipse in the fall fully move forward within that state of harmony as a group. So lots of timelines, not matching up. There's going to be these little shift points. Things are not going to be there when you need them, but then they'll be there afterwards. So grid closeouts too, and then moving into the new grids. So that's how I scientifically, you could say, or I see it, because I always have to see things. And then as far as energetically, I see a lot of, as we move into that space, the energies will become a lot cleaner, a lot clearer, a lot purer, a lot easier to work with in order to create the new earth.
Love it. Yeah, I think we have a tendency, just based off of all of the previous lifetimes that we've been through, where we have experienced the cataclysm, I guess you can say, like the point of destruction, right? So we're talking about harmony, but I feel like there's still that part of us that is still like something bad on the other side, something not good, which I feel seeps into our connection with our twins, in which it's easy to fall out of hope. It's easy to fall out of faith that this is true, this is real, and it's that back and forth. What do you think is a way to truly just sink into the reality of this other side actually being glorious and magnificent, and everything that we can want or ask for or imagine, or even better?
So I have my own system because I'm one of those people that, again, I have to see it. I have to see it. So I'm like a doubting Thomas. I can't work on faith alone, even though I do at the same time. I have to have some type of structure in order to keep myself out of panic, you know, out of that cataclysmic mind, which I am very, very prone to going into, again, because of all of the past incarnations, all of the times where, you know, we had lost our connections, our heritage, our lineage. We lost our counterparts, counterparts energy. And depending on also what kind of, you know, soul we are, what our connections are, for some of us that was very, very detrimental, even more so to our, you know, to our psyche, to our ability to protect ourselves, to our ability to function, you know, in a healthy manner as well. So I know a lot of people are like trauma holders. So this is even more difficult because you've already experienced all this trauma, and now it's like you're going again once more against that grain. So for me, I like to work a lot with timelines. So I like to go back. For instance, for me, 2013 was very instrumental, and I look back at that year and how I was moving along, doing little pieces here and there, not quite knowing exactly what it was going to morph into. But I was, again, acting on my intuition, what felt right at that time, what fit within my current life. And then slowly, little bit by bit, I started to see the picture come through, where I was going to be moving to, what I was going to be doing next. So it's no different now. It's just that it's very individual now. So you don't have those other structures that you were working with to kind of assist you in the process. It's literally like us and then whoever else we're able to connect to at this time.
Which is exactly what I was going to say. Is I think a lot of times I'm able to recognize the motion in which where I am going by the relationships I'm building.
Yes, yes. And that's, you know, that's kind of like I always, that's why I always run everything through my own union space. It's like, does this fit? Is this a match? And it's that constant energetic matching. You know, is this something that is going to continue to grow, or is this something that has already reached its peak? Is it time to let it go? So that's a big one too, is knowing when something's reached its peak and it's not going to go any farther. You have to move forward. And I'm very good at just recognizing that. Like, it's just that feeling like, okay, we're done. Okay, we're done with it. So, and it's being unattached in that fashion as well, and realizing that sometimes you will have, you know, really good relationships, really good connections drop out for some time, and then you reconnect at a later time, and becoming used to that as just a part of the process. And that kind of eases your mind the more you look at how it's occurred before and how everything worked out fine. Trusting yourself, building yourself up within yourself. Like, I know how powerful I am. I know how hard of a worker I am. I know that although I'm moving into this all on my own and I'm scared to death and I have no idea what's coming next, I know that I can handle it. And handling it not from the state of, oh, well, I can handle every crappy thing that would ever be thrown at me, but more of knowing that whatever is facing me, I'm going to work it. I'm going to work that dynamic. I'm not going to step out of it or pull out of it, because I know that the more I work those higher dynamics or higher, you could say, relationships, counterpart type energies, partnerships, and not fall into the lower dynamics. It's like it propels things forward because you are growing, so you know you're moving into these new spaces. But that's also, it's all new now. It's all new. So we can only conceptualize it so much, but it's really more about those non-tangible aspects as well. Our abilities to make ourselves calm, our abilities to bring ourselves back into a state of peace, of emptiness, of purging, of clearing, of working our way up. Okay, I see this, I feel better now. And then it's like, okay, I can start my day. Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on. Hold on. I lost your sound.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Okay, cool. No, you just spoke to me because like how we introduced the conversation about finances over the past like 2 weeks for me. Like I've just had 2 dramatic days of like just feeling like finances are snatched away from me, or I don't have access to them like I've had in the past. Like I haven't had financial woes, you can say. And so when you
You're like,
spoke to me and said like working that so that I won't collapse into this moment of I guess it's slightly feeling like a failure or feeling like I am not capable of getting through this moment. But when I look back, I did what you said. I worked through it. I didn't collapse myself. I didn't, if like this was me before the financial hiccup, right? And I got here, but I didn't go, if you can see my arms, I didn't go all the way here, but it's like I was here, right? And then it's that kind of slow vibrational, like rise back up after that moment because I worked through it. And I think that's totally important. I think the way that you worded that just made me just feel so much better about it.
I also know, like during this period of time, there's we have these moments where something we thought was ours, let's say, will be removed. Okay, like where we were moving in one direction, and then all of a sudden, something comes in to make it seem, let's say, that it's not an option anymore. However, knowing that whatever is removed is not meant for you, it's not in your highest alignment. However, there will be times when it's removed and then it's replaced, and it's replaced with a better, you could say, version of it, or something that is an experience that you can go back to and you can reference as an understanding point of how things will be working from now on as well.
Mm-hmm.
And just again using everything as a learning opportunity, a point for growth. I know we all say that, and it kind of can get annoying sometime, but it's learning how to be strong enough to endure that, and just know that it's going to be, it's going to be okay, and you can make through, get yourself through it on your own too, not falling back into old support systems or old ways of how you would normally manage this situation, perhaps, and perhaps moving into, again, working that dynamic, calling up bill collectors and saying, like, look, can we work this out, this agreement? Or like, for instance, like my rent is late this month, and I there's literally nothing I can do about it. So I just let my landlords know I'm aware of the late fees. Yeah. I'll get it when I get it to you. And it's just that. I'm not giving them more information than they need. It's just that. You just work it.
Exactly. So speaking of working it, and I kind of want to shift the conversation a little bit to our counterparts. So I would say over the past week, I've definitely dealt with a total shift. And even as of last night, it really hit me. So basically, I was told prophetically at an event that I have a truth to share with someone. And at that time, when I heard it, um, my twin came to mind, but I didn't know what that truth was. So I kind of dealt with that whole day of like really, God, like you want me to be more vulnerable than I've been all of this time. Like, how much more vulnerable do you want me to be? You know, because I have been the one that have shared certain emotions or a certain way of I felt, and he's been the one that's hasn't shared much at all. And so that's hard, right? To pour more out of how you feel and have that sense of, well, how will it be received? Yada yada yada. So next day, it came to me what it was I was supposed to share, which is I love you. And during that time, it was like, okay, you know, if because we run into each other at least like once every 2 months or so in the streets of LA. It happens. I know it's nothing but the universe aligning it because there's just no way. Like the last time it happened, my car broke down where I was supposed to pick it up that day, as I was told. The mechanic told me it won't be ready till the next day, so now I'm on the metro. Take the metro, I'm going to the dollar store to go meet up with a friend. On my way to the dollar store, I'm running into my twin. It happened. And so like I know like I can prepare for more moments like that because it just happens like that. So, you know, I'm like, okay, next time something like that happens, I'm ready to share this big thing. You know, I love you, right? For the first time. And I got a really divine message a few days later that I began to send to my friends. I send it to them and I was like, okay, guy, like, do I send this to my twin? Because it was really, it had nothing to do with me personally. It was just a message for the collective. I actually shared it in my last video called The Tipping Point. And so I felt guided to share it and I got no response back. And this is the first time that he has not responded in like a long time. Like we were doing great this year, but this is the first time. And then it kind of like switchblade me to like, how do I then approach this whole truth thing? And I just had this experience. I just boundary wise, I just can't. And so it wasn't until yesterday where I had a friend of mine's, she was showing her friend him, and they recognized that he hasn't posted on social media in over a week. And that's not like him at all. Like he's like at least like every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And so then that put my heart space in a like concern space. And after that concern, it was like then the compassion came of the potential of, you know, something could be wrong, he could be going through something, yada yada yada. And so I thought that was interesting that it took all of that for me to get to the center of compassion, you know. And I think it's interesting because it's very quick and easy to play the victim and play the, okay, since you made me feel like this, I want you to fix it. You know what I mean? I want you to be my savior. I want you to take me out of my suffering that you've caused, right? And so I say all that to say, like, I kind of don't want him to get a taste of my medicine that I received for him. You get what I'm saying? I want this to be harmonious. I do want this merge to be seamless. And I know it takes the compassion factor in order for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could speak on just like any ways that you have kind of work through or uses techniques to help you get out of my twin is doing this to me type thinking, so that you can hold this space for your union?
So the way I usually work it is I work it from the space of understanding and just seeing exactly where he's at, and where I'm at. Also, I don't, you know, I had a I came in through a false twin experience. So I had already essentially played a lot of that out with the false twin. And by the time I met my beloved counterpart, I had already experienced a lot of that, more of the negative experiences as far as, you know, expectations and things like that. But I also didn't have any boundaries at that time either. I didn't know what was occurring. So my experiences are a little bit more, I guess, traumatic in some sense. But for me, with my counterpart, I always see him as where he currently is at, because of the, I guess, the higher level merge that we had already completed. So we had done some higher level merging before I had even met him. So I wasn't quite as exposed, I guess you could say, to more of the pain aspects of where, oh, he's not reaching out to me. Oh, I want to see him. I'm worried about him, things like that. I've never, I don't want to say I've never allowed myself to experience those things, but I was definitely very much just working on the higher levels because I had to heal certain things first before I could be more engaged within the physical aspects themselves. But the way I work it so I don't fall into those lower experiences is that, again, like, I see him, I know where he's at. He's in a relationship. I know he's unhappy. I've been in unhappy relationships. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be in denial. I know what it's like to perhaps not want to have that deep of feelings for somebody. Maybe not wanting to allow myself to love somebody that much. So that was a big thing for me, is allowing myself to love my beloved fully, and allowing my love to be expressed through me. And so when I work it in that fashion and I see it as my love expressed through me, our higher love expressed through me, shared to him, that he's already connected to up above, then I know when it is in that pure vulnerable space and I'm sharing it, there is no need for anything in return, because it just is. It's just exactly how I feel, based on what I know he also feels too, because I've embraced it within me. I've seen the love he has for me. And so as it's in my energy field and I create with that knowing, and I bring that into myself, and then I can share it with him, my knowing, because it's literally my knowing. I know, it is. So there's nothing to even, technically there's nothing even to respond to. And at the same time, I know he's going to be incapable of not responding to it at some point once he processes through it. And once that process starts, it won't stop.
Hey, I love that.
Whoa, no, when you hit them like that, it's once they can stay in that space of actually processing it. So
yeah, definitely interesting. And I think as much as we have like processed our stuff through our collective, meeting on YouTube, on Facebook, in person, whatever the case may be, I have a sense that their processing will happen with us. That we will be like like you have been medicine for me. Karen has been medicine for me. Like all of these teachers have been medicine for me. But I think our masculine will get doses of medicine from us because we will be prepared and in position of intuition, knowing, guides speaking to us, angels, to help guide them out of their space of confusion, ego, not understanding what their highest good is for them. So,
Yep.
yeah. So I'm excited about the eclipse, just like everyone else is. Like, you know, we've been like everyone's been talking about it for at least the past month, and it's literally this next Monday. So I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. I don't. How about you? Do you have any like plans?
I don't. So there's like a feedback. Hold on, this is annoying me. Okay. So I don't have any plans. I was wanting to go up to Oregon with a friend of, or to visit a friend of mine in order to see it, but I don't think that's going to happen. And I have been so, I guess you could say, in like hermit mode for the last few weeks that I haven't even been thinking about it in that sense, or not that I haven't been aligning to it. I'm aware of it, but it hasn't been a focus point for me because honestly, I'm a little nervous about the energies, because I know how powerful they're going to be. And it's also knowing that there is a lot of, you could say, chaos, confusion within the collective. And so I am like staying away from that. Like I don't want to. I'm going to use the energies for good, for a benefit, for a higher purpose, rather than focusing or paying attention to any chaos or confusion that's occurring. So that's how I want to, I guess, align myself to that event.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. I feel you on that. I'm definitely don't know what I'm doing yet, but I know whatever I'm going to be doing. Hopefully, yeah, it's in my highest good to do it. And we are literally what, 6 days away, 7?
6 days.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I thank you so much for this conversation, Jen. And sharing.
For having me. This has gotten me out of my little hermit mode. So
yeah, I love it. Yeah,
a little bit.
The merge is here. The dimensional edge is here. And I'm happy to be here with people like you to experience this shift. So
yeah, all the new templates are here. So
they are.
All the new templates are.
For sure. Thank you everyone for listening. Jan, if you would like to share how they can reach you for support or your services.
Sure. My YouTube channel is TwinSimplicity. My website is www.twinsimplicity.com. And I have a bunch of services. You can email me and or watch my videos.
Awesome. Thank everyone for listening. Harmonic Convergence. You guys take care. Hold your union space.
Yes, hold it really, really sacred too. Really sacred. Don't let others, it's yours. It's your love. It's your love that you're sharing. And then it's, and then it's radiated out. So
awesome. Cool. All right, guys. Take care.
Bye. Thanks, Chris.
All right, stop broadcast.